Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching today. It's Stephen here back with another video. Manchester City are back in action today. I'm very excited for it, really. We're getting our wonderful Blues back, and I got a feeling we're in for a little bit of a treat later as City take on WYDAD? I'm going to pronounce it WYDAD, which is what I hear from my son all the time. WYDAD AC later on in the Club World Cup, the opening fixture. And I cannot wait to see our Blues back. I seriously can't. I'm usually not really excited for sort of pre-season stuff. I view this as pre-season. I really do. But it's also got an added edge given the new signings, given the fact that City are taking this very seriously. And as Guardiola said, and as Calduna said, they're viewing this as the start of the 25-26 season. So look, we're going to take it very seriously, and we're going to see how this unfolds, and hopefully we're going to see some debuts, some interesting lineups, and all the stuff to get us going as fans during this game. It should be an awful lot of fun. I truly can't wait, honestly. I'm expecting a very, very exciting game of football. I'm expecting City to come out and show new ideas. I'm expecting energy, new players, maybe just a bunch of old players, who knows. But either way, it's in sunny Philadelphia, and it should be fascinating. I will be doing a live watch along tonight, of course. It'll be an interesting watch along. I'm going to attempt to do it when Nick looks after the two little ones downstairs. That'll be interesting. It'll be live about 10 minutes before the game or something like that. So I'll see you there for the game, and I can't wait for it. The link is in the description below. It'll be on bigup.com as always for my watch alongs, and I can't wait for it. I really, really can't wait for it. It could be a very memorable game of football, hopefully in West Philadelphia, born and raised. That's where Cherki spent most of his days. Passing to Reijnders and Ait-Nouri too. He's got something special lined up for you. Pep Guardiola, he got on the phone and said, come and make the guys press real hard when we're not at home. I'm trying to do a West Philadelphia things here. You got me going, Simon. We got Rodri and Bob and Diaz too. Navardio's coming home for you. There we go. There's a little rap for you, made up on the spot. I was in a band once. Can you tell? That's not worth it's described. And it wasn't bad, all things considered. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, City played WYDAD and scored 7 goals and blah, blah, blah. Back to the game. City play the Moroccan side. WYDAD, is it pronounced? I don't know. Either way, I'm expecting this to be a good, fun game. But what do we know about these in general? Look, I don't know a lot. I tried to find people to speak to about these and about the style of play, and it's very, very hard. It truly is. They are a team with not a lot of information about online unless you speak Arabic or whatever, and I don't. I don't. So sadly, I can't. Is it Arabic? I'm not even sure. Then I apologise if the language is wrong, but I struggled to find anything. They played some friendlies. They played Porto. They played Sevilla. Lost both of those games. I'll go to the table and see where they actually were in the Moroccan league, which I don't know the name of. It's the Botola Pro 1. They came third this year. I think the previous season before that, they were 6th. So the coefficient's doing them a big favour. The year before that, they were 2nd. I don't know what made them qualify, but 4 years ago, since he last won a league title, RSB Bekane or AS4 would feel a bit... pronounced WYDAD, as in like the Nintendo WYDAD. It's like a child asking for can I have a WYDAD? Or the toilet, or the Nintendo Wii. I get it now, WYDAD. Okay, I'll pronounce it like that, yeah. But either way, they're there, not necessarily on merit. I don't know. How did they qualify for this? But like coefficient maybe, but they're not the best side in Morocco by some way based off their results. I mean, I don't know about any of their players at all. Let me just double check to see if there's anyone I'd recognise. I'll try and find something in the lineups or something like that. If there's any players that I recognise. Absolutely none. Not at all. Who's Samuel Obeng? He's got a great Instagram caption there. Being weak is hard. Being strong is hard. Choose your hard. Great caption there, Samuel Obeng. This guy, we've got to pay attention for him. He's going to be a serious warrior in this game if he's playing. Ghanaian footballer. But either way, look, this game to me is all about City and the new signings. Tijjani, Reijnders, you've got Rayan Cherki, Ait-Nouri. We're going to see them. Hopefully, Roger will be back. Oscar Bob maybe on the pitch. They won last year's African Champions League. Well, there we go. Thank you so much for the answer, mate. I apologise for not knowing that, but I just don't. I'm going to plead ignorance here, and I have no shame about it. I've got far too much going on in my life to know exactly the story of WYDAD AC. And look, that's the issue with this tournament. Like, you want to take the credibility of it out. there isn't much credibility in it from the European perspective. It's a tournament that not a lot of people ask for, but it's a tournament the clubs are taking seriously because there's £100 million in it. And that's the the crux of it. It's an awful lot of prize money for clubs these days in the PSR era. They can't ignore it. Look, once every 4 years, allegedly, I wouldn't be surprised if FIFA try and up that. But it's right in the middle of the summer holidays. And it doesn't feel like we should be playing a new season only 3 weeks after the other one finished, But this is where we are these days. And we have to take it seriously. It's felt like a long time, admittedly, since the season ended. That's because I've got a newborn, so it feels like a long time. For some of you guys, it might feel like just yesterday that we played. Also, the fact that signings have happened and so on. It's been a lot of news in a lot of short time, so it definitely feels like a long time, but no time at the same time. It's really weird. The players, I suspect a lot of the players are putting on a brave face. They will. It's one of those things where they will, they'll take it seriously, some of them, but I don't suspect that they'll be up for it, really. I think everyone moaned at Akanji saying it's ridiculous, and he's probably right, to be honest. We all, slated Akanji because he's Akanji as opposed to Rodri saying it, but the players need breaks and they need rest. The club will play this, and once you're there, you got to take it seriously and all that kind of stuff, but it is a weird tournament to be involved in. I'm expecting the new signings to make a difference. And the report suggests that around the training camp, the vibes have been really good. Pep Linders is the new coach. He wants to get City going faster. Guardiola wants it, apparently. And you've got also, of course, Ait-Nouri there. And now you've got a new captain in Bernardo Silva. Look, Bernardo Silva, Camille asking if he's going to be playing an awful lot. For what it's worth, by the way, I suspect Bernardo Silva will be better this season if he plays compared to the last season. I've said that beforehand, even before we turned our form around. I expect Bernardo Silva in a fresher, happier side will be better than he was last year. And I think Bernardo Silva was actually good towards the end of last season. You can debate that if you want to, but I think he was. But either way, it doesn't mean he's going to play every single game. I think there's a decent chance that he rotates out every now and then, And I think there's a good chance that Rodri doesn't play every single game too, given his injuries. And look, Rodri alongside Reijnders with some experience, I think that's a decent idea every now and then, I don't think he can play on the right. Iana's saying Bob should ask for a loan. I think that's very preemptive, mate. I think Bob should stay where he is and try and force his way into that right wing slot. Fingers crossed he can get there. And I don't see why he couldn't. But personally, I think Savinho was out of the team towards the end of last season. I don't think Savinho with a clean slate ahead of him is ahead of Oscar Bob necessarily. I don't think he is. I think there's going to be a very clean start, and I think Oscar Bob will be playing getting some minutes in pre-season, and we'll see how it goes. Look, he'll be up against Cherki and Foden and Doku and everyone else, but that's where you want to be. You want to be up against these players as opposed to starting every single week and a lesser club. You want to be challenging yourself. Bernardo Silva only played 9 times at right wing last season. It's not like he was there all the time, and that was when City were trying to find a bit of functionality. I suspect it'll be different this year. Personally, I think it will be. And I think Bernardo, for what it's worth, I think he deserves the armband. I think Bernardo is a consummate professional. I think he's a phenomenal person as well. Like, he fronted up last season when other people ducked, and I've got a feeling Bernardo will step up this season and lead. I think it was Kompany once said that he was 50% clown, 50% leader. When he's 75% leader and 25% clown, you'll be the captain of the club. And this is where we're at right now. Guardiola himself, of course, picked the captain as well, which is a damning indictment of Kyle Walker as a person and as a captain. And as an individual, because I think Kyle Walker, a great footballer, but an absolute clown and a scumbag of a person. I know that sounds quite harsh, but we can remove ourselves from it now. All this, you got to respect the legend stuff is gone, because he's not a City anymore. We can say as it was, but Kyle Walker is a shambolic person. I was quite aggressive when I did my leaving video for Kyle Walker. Fantastic footballer, but I have no time for him whatsoever as a person. I think he is an utter scumbag of a man, and it turns out it offended Guardiola so much with his betrayal, leaving him mid-season, despite Guardiola appointing him as captain, that Guardiola has completely reassessed his approach to leadership and decided to be the boss, in his own words, and choose the captain. And look, I know I think doesn't mean Bernardo Silva is going to play, but Bernardo Silva is 10 times the man that Kyle Walker is. He is. Bernardo Silva was one of the hardest working players in the run-in. He stepped up and he did. And doesn't mean he'll play every game, but I think as his integrity as a footballer is absolutely top class. And I think Bernardo Silva at times last year was actually one of the ones defending the young players and taking City forward and fronting up. So yeah, look, I understand he's got an awful lot to improve on his performances last year, but as a person, And as a leader and as an inspiration, Bernardo Silva does fight for the badge. He always does. He always has. And I've got no problem with him wearing the armband when he's on the pitch because, yeah, he's there for the club. I agree. And I don't care about him asking to leave for 5 seasons because, look, ultimately I get it. And ultimately, I get it. I'm from Manchester, and I couldn't wait to leave Manchester a few years ago. During the pandemic, I got so sick of Manchester, it felt dirty to me. It's my home, but Manchester's not a perfect place. It's got a bit dirty, it's got a bit messy, and honestly, during lockdown, I could not wait to get out of Manchester. What a green space! And I moved to Ramsbottom, half an hour away outside of Bury, and I live in a leafy little market town now, and I prefer it there. So Bernardo has no problem with the people of Manchester. He has no problem with his teammates. He has no problem with City fans or Manchester City as a club. He just wanted to be, close to his family, back near Portugal, close that way in a sunnier place. And that's the thing for me. I don't dislike him for that. But it turns out, guess what? He changed his tack a little bit. As soon as lockdown was unlocked, he could travel a little bit, and now he's got a young child, and he's settled in. He's going to do his contract and probably be leaving a year from now, and he'll get the hero send-off that he deserves. Look, I don't mind players wanting to live somewhere nicer. You're only young for a while, and ultimately doesn't mean he doesn't love the club. I love Manchester, but I also see its flaws, and I see why, as a millionaire, you put Bernardo ahead of Reijnders, Rodri, Nico, G, and Cherki is horrendous. Who said he's starting ahead of them? Stop moaning before we know it. Like if he starts every week ahead of them constantly, we're playing poorly. Fine. Until that happens, I'm not going to moan. Jail time. Grow up is what I would say to that. Criminal, Jesus Christ! I am not going to moan until I have a reason to moan. So don't you think we should give the armband to a player who's leaving on a free in a year? Why not? What's a good reason not to? Give me a logical reason why not. I don't see any reason. If he's captain, then he'll start. Well, that's not necessarily true. Why did Guardiola have De Bruyne on the bench so much last season then? He did. He did an awful lot, even though he was the club captain. We've seen Gundogan on the bench a fair bit as well when he was captain. This is not necessarily the case. And you all think you know better, but ultimately Guardiola is the greatest manager ever. So, no, he was not injured for as much, mate. He was on the bench every single week. So, I know that's... De Bruyne absolutely was captain when he was on the pitch. He was. But he wasn't, so... Walker was club captain, but De Bruyne was second. De Bruyne was club captain second. Walker left in January. We gave Gundogan the armband for year left to win a treble. Exactly. Either way, you can all moan about it, but the captain's not as important as you guys think it is either. It just isn't. Guardiola does know better, mate. Just because he had one bad season doesn't mean you suddenly know better than Guardiola. The insane arrogance to not allow the greatest ever manager a bad season. Like, everyone, mate, has a bad season. Doesn't suddenly mean you're better. A doctor can make a mistake. Are you suddenly a better surgeon than them? No. A firefighter could connect a hose wrong. Are you a better firefighter than them? No. A bad season does not underline a man. Honestly, if you guys treated the people around you with the same high standards, you'd be lonely all the time. Like, people make mistakes. That's what I will say. But anyway, I don't know what's going to happen until I see it. But look, if you really think Guardiola is talking about being faster this season and all these rumours coming out and signing these players and we're going to carry on being it, then look, he'll play the players that win in games next season. Just you wait. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to argue with people who just argue with the sun coming up every single day. Some of you people in the chat are so fucking ungrateful that you don't know how good you've got it. And some of you people moan regardless. Some of you can watch us win 5-0 and moan that your favourite player didn't standards. And that's the fact. Some of you just never stop moaning. And some of you need to get fucking grip and shut up, That's what I will say, We won the league in 23-24, mate. Bad watch or not, get over yourself. Oh, we won the league, but we won 4 in a row, but the football wasn't that great. Fucking stop being so childish and entitled. Honestly, I got no time for it. I'm too tired for this. I get 2 hours sleep a night for little children to moan that we don't win the league every single year and we had a bad year. We finished third. Come on, man. That's all I will say on that. Let's go. I had just don't have the time for it. I spend all my day chasing toddler around and crying baby to have people moan because we didn't win the league every year and Guardiola had a bad year. We did have a bad year, but get over it. He's the best manager we've ever had at this club. The best manager in the world, full stop. That's all I will say. Stop being so damn entitled to me and show some respect to an actual club legend. 2 club legends. Anyway, it's so toxic. It's not about winning the league. It's about how boring football's become. Fucking read that. Read your comment. It's not about winning the league. It's exactly about winning the league. Go and watch someone score 10 goals a week and finish mid-table if you want then, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's not about winning the league. It's about how boring football's become. It's absolutely about winning the league. I would watch City win 1-0 every single week if we won the treble, mate. That's the only thing that matters. Jesus Christ, do you not understand how entitled you're feeling? Arsenal would kill to have our boring 4th league in a row. They would kill for it. Everyone would kill for it, and we're moaning because the 4th was a bit boring. It was a bit boring, and we're going to change it. Jesus Christ, man. Like, you don't understand how entitled you're sounding. Bloody hell. Even then, we still got to watch De Bruyne do wonderful things. I can't. Ungrateful. Some of you are so ungrateful. Some of you are in for a rude awakening one day. But anyway, I'm going to go to Guardiola's quotes and ignore the children moaning. Beginning of the new season, Guardiola said, "Sport and life, what happened in the past, good things or bad, it's about what we start the season. That is our feeling." Yeah, absolutely. It's a new season. Gee, it drives me mad. Like, I'm not even saying it's perfect, but to moan that we only won the league playing boring football after 4 in a row is just so tedious. It's more boring than the football. It's intensely boring. Liverpool and Arsenal, every team in the league would have taken what we had that year, and you're still moaning because it wasn't quite fun enough. Go outside and touch some grass. Seriously, log off. That's all I will say, man. It just drives me mad. I haven't got time for it. And do you know what? We'll moan about Bernardo playing if he's playing badly in 2 months from now. But at that point, I'm going to give everyone a pass. You know, everyone a pass from last season. I am, because it was a bad year, full stop. Guardiola, enormous thank you to Zwanma and the coaches, absolutely. He talked an awful lot about football in Africa and the qualities there in North Africa, particularly Riyad Mahrez. Ait-Nouri and, of course, Cherki both got Algerian backgrounds as well. Loads of great footballers out of Algeria and Africa in general. Obviously, a lot of them represent France, but there's so many wonderful players with African heritage. It's a hotbed of talent, even if, you know, a lot of them are second generation or so on. But either way, as Guardiola said, the quality of African players is incredibly high, you know. It's not just in physicalities, as he said, but the skills that they have. I have a huge respect. Look how many African players, north or south, are playing Europe already. Absolutely, you know, it would be amiss to ignore it, you know, or the quality is ridiculously high. So he talked about Jack Grealish. He said there was a conversation between him and the club, and the club decided the best. He's an exceptional player. The only reason that he didn't play last season, of course, my decisions. And we decided he has to play, and the club was honest. He's honest. He's incredibly respected and loved by the team. Basically, he said he has to have the butterflies in his stomach again. At this point, anyone going on about Jack Grealish not playing or being a solution is willfully missing the obvious. How many times does someone have to spell it out for you before you accept what's in front of your face? The reason Grealish is not here is because Guardiola is sick of him. It's as simply that. Like, Guardiola is entirely sick of Grealish not committing. Grealish's problems are Jack Grealish's problems. They're no one else's. It's very obvious to me that Grealish was not focused enough, and, you know, and that's why he's not here anymore. Very talented. But Guardiola wanted Grealish to succeed. But you only have to read between the lines, you know? He's not here because Guardiola is bored of it, clearly. And that's it, unfortunately. I wish him all the best, but he's just not cut out for it mentally. That's where he's at. He talked about the USA being great. He said the new arrivals are really pleased. They all have huge quality, but the club believes, alongside our opinions, the staff manage what we need, and they bring it. There's a credible amount of games we have, 11 months every 3 or 4 days. Everybody's going to play. Don't know how far we'll go, but everyone will be involved. A few players will play more than other ones, but everybody's going to play because the season has to be like that. The last part of the season, the last month, when we're in the Champions League, we had long weeks. Basically, he's talking about everyone being involved. He said, I don't think so about new signings as well. I would ignore the new signings things. I think it's very possible. This is the captaincy thing. He said, I decided this season, sometimes I want to be the boss, and this season I decided to do it. So I chose the 4 captains, and at the end of the tour, the Club World Cup, maybe we'll choose 1 or 2 more. I like the captains. I think they're a good choice. Rodri, Diaz, Haaland, Bernardo. I think they're very smart. Rodri and Diaz are you know, they're obvious. They're obvious choices. I think Haaland's a very smart choice. Haaland is one of the most respected players in world football. He's an elite level professional. I think Guardiola's trying to get a little bit more out of him as well. He should be one of the captains. I think it's a really smart choice. A lifelong City fan who's achieved it all, and who is a standing on the world as one of the best. So Guardiola is right to choose Haaland. I can't wait to see how he rises. And I think Bernardo is a good choice as well. I think Bernardo is one of the most senior, hardest working professionals out there who never moans, who gives Guardiola everything he possibly can in every position. And that, to me, is what a true leader does. A true leader is selfless. A true leader puts the team before themselves always. They do not moan if they're on the bench. They do not moan if they're asked to play left back. They do not moan about where they play on the pitch. They do not, for 1 second, even if they're playing poorly, they will run more than everyone else on the pitch. A true leader will drop. Do you remember? I'm going to take you back here. For everyone moaning about Bernardo Silva. Everyone moaning about Bernardo Silva. Do you remember Chelsea, Kusanov's debut? This guy that we all love, right? Kusanov had an absolute mare in the first 10 minutes. He looked visibly nervous. Who was it dropping 20 yards deeper than he should have been to get the ball off Kusanov to help him out? Who was it showing the young lads and the new signings exactly where to be and what to do and being there meters away from them for support? It was Bernardo Silva. It absolutely was. And I know Bernardo Silva wasn't in great form back then, but Bernardo Silva took it upon himself to get close to Kusanov, to help him out, to pat him on the back and say, do not worry about it. That is what leaders do. I'm not saying he's Vincent Kompany. I'm not saying, he's going to be the chest-beating guy, but he is. Bernardo Silva also gets under the skin of his rivals. Bernardo Silva is the guy who's there for his teammates. And as much as I agree that Bernardo Silva's form wasn't the best last season, it was towards the end, by the way. Bernardo Silva was excellent in the last month or two. But they're one of those things where Bernardo Silva is absolutely a manager's dream. And Bernardo Silva is a Manchester City legend, and to me he's also a cult hero at the same time, because he fucking hates United and he hates Liverpool too, and that to me means an awful lot. And he gets it, and his little kid's going to be a Mancunian, and I can't wait to see Bernardo Silva get the send off he deserves in 12 months from now. By the way, he'll get a big send off at the Etihad, and I can't wait to see it, because but I understand he shouldn't be in the team straight away. I agree with that, but him part as the leadership group, absolutely no problem, because I can't name 4 players who deserve it more than him. Stones doesn't. He's never fit on the pitch. Ake doesn't. He's never fit on the pitch. Who else? Edison, nope, he's not a captain. Phil Foden hasn't proved it over Bernardo Silva, in my humble opinion. Then who else after that? Who else? Who else is Gundogan? I'm sure he'll wear the armband. Maybe I think Gundogan's going for what it's worth. I think we've got Galatasaray, but I don't really know other than that. I don't know who. Who else deserves it? None of the new guys. They've been here for a few months. The others are too young. Vardiol, not quite there yet, in my humble opinion. That's it, really. Who else is there? So, look, I think he absolutely deserves it to be in that group. But yes, let's go and try and build a team for you for this game. Let's stop moaning about all this kind of stuff. Let's talk about. I love Bernardo, by the way. I know he played poorly last season at times. And I actually, to be fair, I've got tweets saying I feel like we might have to just let him go for Guardiola's own good. And I stand by that. But I've also got tweets saying where I feel like if Bernardo does stay, he might find a bit of his joy again and might be a lot better, But what I do know is that Bernardo will give it his all and it'll be a focal point for the new players, and there's lots of new players. This is what I want to see tonight. I'll show you what I want to see. This is the team I want to see. It'll be Edison in goal, obviously. I want to see Ait-Nouri start. I want to see this personally. I want to see Vardiol. I actually want to see Kusanov. Sorry, Diaz. But I actually want to see Rico Lewis get a start. Something tells me, you might disagree, Rico Lewis is going to suit this new, more aggressive, more intense City football. And there's some reports that suggest that City are going to play this way. I want to see Rico Lewis. I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling he's going to be good. Cherki is in there. Reijnders is in there. Rodri's in there. Foden's in there. Haaland's in there. Marmoush is in there. This is the lineup I want to see. I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see that. This could be Bob, by the way. Foden or Bob. I'm not bothered. I want to see one of these two here. And I want to see Cherki there. I want to see Ait-Nouri pushing up. Marmoush over here. I want to see him out there. I want to see Rico Lewis step into midfield and support these guys here like this, so we can control the channels and also this strand. And Vardiol covering that way, Kusanov covering that way. That's what I want to see. I want to see that when we've got the ball, So you've got that, you got the pace covering on the counter. You've got Reijnders, his technical ability, and Rodri and Rico Lewis. I want to see that. I'm fine with Nunes there. I'm also fine with Kusanov at right back, and then you can play Diaz there if you want to too. But I really want to see Kusanov because I miss him. He's barely played. I'd also quite like. Excuse me. Quite like to see Nico Gonzalez on the pitch as well. But Marmoush is cut inside with Ait-Nouri overlapping. Excuse me. I choked on something then. But I'd quite like to see something like this. But I honestly feel like we're going to... I think we're going to win the league. I truly believe it. I think the squad is in a really good place, and I think City have got the motivation. What do I expect to see tonight? I expect to see Ait-Nouri will certainly start. I think Rico Lewis should start right back as well, actually. I think Rico will start right back. I think it'll be this as a defence. I think we'll see Rodri not start this game. I think he'll be on the bench. I think Reijnders will start. I think we'll see... I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we'll see. Sorry, my wife's ringing me saying, can you send me a £5 because she's skint? I was going to do it right now. I've got to go meet her in a minute. She's at the coffee shop around the corner. But I want to see Cherki get a start. He might start on the bench this one. You might not like it, but I think we might see Nico Gonzalez potentially starting midfield. It could be that, Cherki starts here and we see Nico G start. Haaland's almost certainly going to start. I think Marmoush will too. I'm going to put Nico G in midfield. It could be this. And we could see Cherki on the right where he's played before. And we could see him midfield sort of like this, where it's sort of, bit more powerful and something like that. We could see some Doku. I don't really know. There's absolutely no choice. No idea until we see how fit people are. But either way, I can't wait. Like the things I'm looking forward to seeing tonight, I'm looking forward to seeing Nico Riley's development. Rico Lewis, I've got a feeling he's going to be a lot better this season. Trust me on this. Kusanov again, Cherki, Reijnders, Rodri. I can't wait to see Foden's form. Foden is going to change this season, I promise you. Oscar Bob, it should be an awful lot of fun. Guys, I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to go. Vitor Reis as well. I'd love to see him. You're right, mate, my friend. Absolutely love to see him in a Manchester City shirt again. I think he's a lot better than people realise too, Vitor Reis. What I don't want to see is Ake and Stones. I know it sounds awful, but I don't. What I don't want to see is Gundogan and Bernardo start every single game. I don't want to see that. I want to see something different. I want to see City move towards, their future. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will be live tonight at about 10 to 5 for the game. I'll see you for the watch along. For now, up the Blues. City are back. Come on, you Blues.